Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of March 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Sherifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Strategic attacks. The Russian armed forces carried out multiple group strikes using high-precision weapons and unmanned aerial vehicles from March 1st to 7th, targeting Ukrainian military infrastructure including airfields, ammunition depots, and energy facilities vital to Ukraine's military-industrial complex.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of March 7th, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get right into it. Colonel, can you give us an overview of the major developments from March 1st to March 7th regarding the special military operation?
Over the past week, the armed forces of the Russian Federation conducted multiple high-precision strikes using long-range air, sea, and land-based weapons, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles. These strikes targeted critical Ukrainian military infrastructure, including airfields, ammunition depots, production sites, and control centers for drone operations. Additionally, energy infrastructure linked to Ukraine's military-industrial complex was struck, successfully disrupting its operations.
That's quite a broad scope. How effective were these strikes in achieving their objectives?
The strikes were highly effective. All designated targets were successfully hit, crippling Ukraine's logistical and operational capabilities. Additionally, over the past week, 35 Ukrainian servicemen surrendered on the front lines, a testament to the sustained pressure applied by our forces.
Let's talk about the ground operations. Can you walk us through the performance of different units across the battlefield?
On the northern front, our forces in the Kursk region continued eliminating enemy formations, including heavy mechanized and airborne assault brigades. The enemy suffered over 1,590 casualties, along with the loss of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery. In the Kharkov sector, Ukrainian forces suffered heavy losses, with their mechanized and motorized infantry brigades, as well as border defense units, being severely weakened. Meanwhile, our Western forces secured more advantageous positions and inflicted over 1,525 casualties while destroying armored vehicles, tanks, and NATO-supplied artillery. In the south, our troops improved their tactical standing while decimating multiple mechanized and airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and National Guard. Ukrainian casualties in this sector exceeded 1,665 personnel, along with significant equipment losses.
That's a significant push. You mentioned Ukrainian losses in personnel and equipment. How do the numbers compare in other regions?
Our central group successfully liberated the settlement of Andriivka in the Donetsk People's Republic while neutralizing 6 mechanized brigades and other Ukrainian formations. In this sector alone, the enemy lost over 3,810 personnel and a large amount of Western-supplied military hardware. Our eastern forces made key advancements, liberating 3 settlements, Skudno, Berlatsko, and Provolno, while inflicting over 1,210 Ukrainian casualties and neutralizing tanks, armored vehicles, and field artillery. Our Dnieper group also strengthened its frontline positions, taking on mountain assault and coastal defense brigades. Ukrainian forces lost up to 575 personnel, along with tanks and field artillery. Overall, across all sectors, our combined operations continue to degrade Ukrainian combat effectiveness while solidifying our own tactical gains.
You've outlined significant ground operations, but what about Ukraine's attempts to strike back? Have their counterattacks had any impact?
The enemy has attempted counterattacks, but our air defense and electronic warfare systems have proven highly effective. Over the past week alone, we intercepted 21 JDAM guided bombs and 5 HIMARS rockets supplied by the U.S., as well as 637 unmanned aerial vehicles attempting to strike our positions. Our defensive capabilities remain robust, ensuring minimal impact from Ukrainian attempts to regain ground.
Let's zoom in on the Kursk region, where reports indicate ongoing clashes. What can you tell us about the situation there?
The Kursk region remains a focal point of operations. Our northern forces have launched successful offensive actions against multiple Ukrainian mechanized and airborne brigades. Strikes by operational tactical and army aviation units have significantly weakened enemy formations across multiple settlements. Over the past 24 hours alone, Ukrainian forces in the Kursk direction lost more than 160 personnel, a tank, several armored combat vehicles, and multiple artillery systems. Cumulatively, since the start of engagements in this region, enemy losses amount to approximately 65,400 personnel, along with hundreds of tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and artillery systems, including Western-supplied HIMARS launchers.
With that in mind, what has been the role of air defense systems in countering Ukrainian attacks?
Our air defense systems have been integral to neutralizing Ukrainian aerial threats. Over the past week, they successfully intercepted 21 JDAM guided bombs, 5 HIMARS multiple launch rockets, and an astonishing 637 aircraft-type drones. These interceptions have prevented significant damage to our infrastructure and military assets.
That's a high number of drones intercepted. Have Ukrainian drone operations evolved in recent engagements?
Yes, we've observed an increased reliance on drone warfare from Ukrainian forces, likely as a means of compensating for their losses in heavy weaponry. However, our air defense and electronic warfare systems have adapted accordingly, neutralizing the majority of these threats before they can cause substantial damage.
Those are significant numbers. Have Russian forces sustained losses in the course of these operations?
While we have faced challenges, our operations remained focused on minimizing casualties through superior tactical positioning and defensive strategies. That said, this remains an ongoing military effort, and we continue to adapt our strategies as the situation evolves.
What is extremely curious is not how the strike was carried out on the night of March 6th, 7, but the next steps of the Russian Federation. Will the further development of strikes become a step towards the complete destruction of the Ukrainian GTS as a single system?
If this is the course taken, then, in our humble opinion, this signals not only a strategy towards Ukraine, but also a strict revision of gas policy with Europe. It is quite possible that any future gas supplies to EU countries, if they ever resume, will definitely not pass through Ukrainian territory, cutting out unreliable intermediaries from the process.
Colonel, based on the latest developments, how do you assess the trajectory of this conflict?
The objective remains the continued neutralization of Ukrainian military assets and the strengthening of our tactical positioning. Future operations will focus on maintaining strategic superiority, disrupting enemy supply lines, and preventing counteroffensive efforts. We will continue to employ precision strikes to degrade Ukraine's operational capabilities.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. Today, there are significant developments as Israeli bombardment in Gaza continues to severely impact medical facilities, making it challenging for Palestinians to receive essential health care. Additionally, clashes between Syrian forces and Assad loyalists have escalated, resulting in over 70 fatalities. In Jerusalem, Palestinians are commemorating the first Friday of Ramadan amid Israeli restrictions, reflecting ongoing tensions in the region.